Welcome to Wallingford Homestead. My name is Ian, and this is the saga of my long 610. A few years ago, I did a video on this tractor arriving. I bought it basically for scrap value off from the garage where I get a lot of my truck work done at. Mechanic at the time and the owner brought this tractor into his shop for a customer for a no-run situation. Well, come to find out, he replaced the injection pump on it, got it running, and after he got it running, he had a massive oil leak somewhere between the block and the transmission. This mechanic supposedly split the tractor twice, trying to fix the oil leak. I believe he thought it was a remain seal. Couldn't fix the leak and basically told the customer it needed an engine. Well, couldn't find an engine for it, so tractor sat for years at the garage. Owner couldn't use it, so it sat, at least for 3 years I knew of, there. Almost 5 years ago this summer, the mechanic died in a motorcycle accident. After he passed away, his wife took over the business, started running the garage, so they had to keep up with the mortgage payments. So she was trying to clean up the yard, so I told her, I said, I'll buy the tractor for scrap value. I did. There's a video on my channel showing it after I got here. I had plans to do a will it start video. I did one, took all the footage, and somewhere along the line, I mean, I had hours into it. I lost all the footage when I switched phones. Long story short, spoiler, it didn't start. I replaced the fuel filters. I drained the tank, replaced the lift pump. I could not get any fuel pressure out of that cab pump, the injection pump. So I proceeded to buy a seal kit off from the Jungle Store, Amazon, for 14 bucks or so. I pulled that injection pump off, which was supposedly new. I had no reason to believe it wasn't. And I found in this body housing here, it comes out the back end, there is I don't even know what you call it. I don't want to call it a piston, but it's like a little shuttle that builds pressure. It goes both ways to build the pressure for the pump, and that was frozen. So yeah, I got it. Put it back together. I still had no fuel pressure out of the lines leading up to the injectors. So I said, well, I've got to get some pressure out of that to get it to run. So I proceeded to take the pump out again. I removed the injectors, took them up to Atlantic Fuel Injection in Raymond, here in the state. He rebuilt the pump for me and told me there's a piece in here that I installed backwards when I put this back together. I had never done one before, and that's the reason why I didn't have any pressure. So, fine. Every single injector, all the nozzles were bad. So I'm glad I took it all up there. I know it's all right. I know it's timed correctly. Everything's good. Installed it, got it running. Tractor runs okay. It's smoky, it's lethargic. I haven't been able to run it because for any extended amount of time, because once I got it running, oil leak out the back of the engine. The reason why I'm doing this video is because there isn't a whole lot of good information on the internet of where these tractors have a massive oil leak on the back of the engine. You get into the Facebook groups, the long tractor Facebook groups, there's a ton of information on it. But just browsing YouTube and just online in general, there isn't any good information, so I want to share it. Anyhow, once I can get it running, and running where it's not leaking oil or coolant, because I disturbed this coolant manifold when I got the injectors out because they're all seized in there. So this needs to be resealed too. But I haven't worried about the coolant leak. I gotta get the oil leak fixed first. I'll get the coolant leak, then I can run it, then I can time the pump. Just needs a little bit of fine tuning on the pump. I really don't know how to do that with a cab pump, besides by ear. If anybody have any suggestions or know how to do it, or knows how to do it, please leave it in the comments below. I'd appreciate the advice. I plan on getting it back together, get it running, and kind of doing it by ear and watching see how smoky it is and make sure it's not lethargic. But this has been a long time coming. I mean, I've had the tractor now for 2.5, 3 years. I've had other projects in the works that always seem to take precedent. But it's January here in Maine. With stoves going, I figured I'd pull apart. So I did this last Wednesday. I planned on going skiing, but it was 10 degrees and the wind was blowing 40 miles an hour. So I stayed home and worked in the garage and split the tractor, find out where this oil leak was. Well, I found it. I'll insert a picture right here. This is what I found. I've already removed this. The picture I just showed shows the freeze plug in this oil galley. There's another freeze plug here. I believe that's in a coolant galley. If you look at the rust, see the rust line? On the backside of this engine, once you separate it, this is the upper part of the bell housing. See the rust there? I think what happens, tractor sits outside, it's in the right position, water gets down in between here, the upper part of the bell housing, gets cold out, it freezes, it pushes that oil galley freeze plug in. Of course, that's where the oil filter is, so that's where your massive oil leak comes from. Name of the game now, what I plan on trying to do, if I can find one, is pipe plug it. I'm going to tap that. It's a 5/8 diameter hole. I want to try to tap it. You can't see in there real well, but you can see there's a shoulder in there. I think I've got enough room where I can tap it and put a pipe plug in it. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one yet. I haven't decided. That's why I haven't taken it out. I might just fill that right full of JB Weld or silicone or something. I think JB Weld would be better. So if water gets down there, it doesn't freeze and push it in again. If I can't pipe plug the oil galley, I'll put another freeze plug in it and do the same thing. Just fill it right full of JB Weld, let it cure. So that's my mission today. If anybody have any better suggestions, I'd appreciate it in the comments. And also, I don't know, this is my clutch plate. While I have it apart, it doesn't look terrible. I think I'm going to replace it. The flywheel is rusty from sitting. I'll clean that up. The flywheel here is rusty. I'll clean that up. This is the pressure plate. But you look online and they talk about, I found a few of them, clutch plates, this. And my question is, should you spend the extra money to get the loader duty clutch disc or not? This tractor does have a loader. I've knocked that off early this summer. That way I could get it in the garage and split the tractor. But is it worth the money for the quote-unquote loader duty clutch disc? Or should I just go with the standard clutch disc? I honestly don't know. I'm sure there's somebody out there that knows better than I do. Anyhow, so we'll leave it there, and I will see if I can go find a pipe plug. All right. Back from driving all over 3 towns. And this is what I'm coming up with. So I'm hoping this will work. Pipe plug, 1/2-inch pipe plug. It looks like it's gonna fit in there perfectly. But I have to drill it and tap it. So, stop by Harbor Freight. Got some NPT taps, $20 for the kit, perfect. JB Weld in case I need it. And a 37/64 drill bit. Do you know how hard it is to find a 37/64 drill bit in stock someplace? I had to go 3 towns over to get this thing. But I think it's going to be worth it. So, get the drill out and see what we can do. Well, I guess I did all that running around for nothing for the 31/64 drill bit. Didn't do my planning very well. It's already smaller than the borehole. So, hoping I won't have any trouble tapping this out. I didn't think that through very well. None of my tap sockets are large enough for 1/2-inch NPT tap, so try to keep this straight and do it with the wrench. Okay. Yep, tap a little further, I guess. Okay, this snugs up pretty well. I haven't run it down real tight because I'm going to clean it up, put some thread sealant on it. Get you to focus here. There we go. So that's pretty close to being flush. After I clean it up, put some thread sealant on it and run it down tight as I can. If it's not flush, I'll just hit it with a flat disc of the grinder and smooth it right off, flush with the block. Next question is this plug here. Get you to focus. Yeah. Do I do the same or do I just leave it? Fill with JB Weld? Not sure yet. Okay, this is what the final outcome is. I JB welded the freeze plug that's on bottom. You saw me tap and put in that pipe plug, the oil galley plug that was bothering. And I also put some clear silicone in there. I didn't want to put JB Weld in there in case somebody needs to take that plug out. I hope I'm never alive to ever have to do it again, but I think it's the life of my lifetime anyway. But who knows? So I figure if I put silicone in there, that can be dug out so that pipe plug can come out.